Hello, welcome to YouTube, to my YouTube channel. Hi, this is Dr. Nicole. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. So this is new for me. So bear with me, but I'm so excited to be here to offer this free class. And so I am waiting for folks to come on. I see one person successfully got over here. That's really, really good. And let's get some more people. And I want to be able to see the comments. So, oh, okay. Don't want to do that. That was wrong. All right. And, all right. All right. Well, let me know. Oh my goodness. I want to be able to see this. Uh, and see the comments. I can't see the comments. Let me see if I. Okay, I'm going to have to do it old school and go onto my YouTube on. Here we go. All right. I can see myself looking at the camera. All right. All right. All right. So, and I don't have live chat. Why is that? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Um, so praying that everyone can get on, that folks are getting on. Um, see if I can see a little bit better here. But please put some likes through. So I see one watching. I see three. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. And as you come on, please go ahead and subscribe and share and like. Good, good, good. I see that. I see that. Okay, I can see that, but I can't see your comments. I'm not sure why, but it's okay. I will see them afterward and I will give response to them, okay? So if you're expecting some guests, please go ahead and share this with them so that they can get on. And I'll wait till, let's see if we can get up to 7 to 10 people on here. And, and then I'm going to share some really great information with you. So in the meantime, while we are waiting, what I'd like to tell you is my name is Dr. Nicole Bramwell, and I am a medical doctor. All right. And I have been doing weight management. Man, this is weight management. I'm into my 10th year, but I have been a medical doctor for almost 30 years. And that is crazy to even comprehend. But that the weight management component came about because in my former life, I was a pediatrician, and I saw a lot of kids that were having adult diseases, things that were known to be adult diseases now were seeping into the children, like diabetes, like high cholesterol, um, joint pains, um, being overweight, being underweight. So I do, as far as weight management, I help people gain healthy weight just as well as release unhealthy weight, right? And things that are causing health issues with people. So I'm really, really excited to be able to share on this free class some information, and what you will experience here, and you can see it in the event, that this will be pretty candid. I'm pretty straightforward. I like to be honest with folks. There are a lot of things out there, enough things that are not honest or not completely honest or just for marketing sake. And we make certain that we have certain assumptions that we make when we see certain things out in the grocery store, in the community, when we hear certain things, we make determinations about them that may not be true. Um, but that's because we associate it with something that we want to be, then we make it what we want it to be. Okay. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. So the what you'll experience is, yes, the candid discussion. Also, that the scale does not tell you everything about your health status. All right. There are a lot of myths, so we'll discuss a few of them around weight, WEIGHT, and the importance of small changes, which can be very, very frustrating because we want everything to happen right away. I am old enough to know how it was to dial up the internet and how we used to wait for that. And you could go and fix yourself a sandwich and something to drink and make a bathroom trip, and still it might not be connected. Okay, but now it's just in a few seconds, and if it doesn't happen in those few seconds, like 3 seconds, if it doesn't come up, I find myself even becoming impatient. And so we're that society now that expects things to happen quickly, but this is the body that we're talking about, and your body's smart, and it doesn't necessarily want you to do things so quickly because, and we'll talk about that in a little while. And then that kind of brings me to the other objective, the other thing that you will hear, HEAR, here, HERE, right? Why fast release of weight may set you up for failure. All right. And then we're going to talk about something really positive, how you can win on your health journey, whatever it is. Okay. So, weight management, I think, calls people's attention to certain things that are going on, but it's the result of, so being either overweight or underweight are a result of some things, right? And so we are going to kind of pick at some of those things. All right. So I use my hands a lot. So hopefully you all are okay with that. But let's kind of dive right into it. So um, weight weight issues are very emotional, and I think because food is tied to other things other than just willpower. Food is tied to, it can be pleasant memories and experience and emotions. It's psychological. It's very social. As anyone that goes to church, I mean, church is so, you know, lots of things at church are involve food, right? That's how we get people together. That's how we attract people to the church events, or even coming to church just in general, going to church or other events. People use food to attract. And so we tie things to that. And so over time, whether positive or negative, we develop beliefs, a belief system. We're in an environment that may encourage certain types of things, and maybe lack of knowledge about things in that environment lead to um, certain food choices. Um, Even being underweight, depending on conversations that have been held. One child may be underweight because they hear what parents are saying about another child that may be overweight. And so then that accommodation is made. And so that can be quite interesting and a little bit tricky. And so families make certain choices, but then we may have one child ostracized, or even one of the parents ostracized, um, and thinking that their plan should be different from what the family is doing. And what I will tell you is that if the family is eating the same, those behaviors, if it's not the right type of foods, not the healthier foods, then what will happen is that all the family members learn that from their environment, and maybe it doesn't show up the same way in the other family members, but it will eventually show up. And so that is something that's a little tricky as well. All right. Um, so when someone comes to me, there are all kinds of things that fall out. And we learn how to protect ourselves. And one of those protections sometimes is going to food. It's not only medicating us, but also comforting us. It's something that's not going to talk back. It's something that's not going to disagree with you, not in the way that a human being would or a social situation would. And so that is something there. That's something really, it's real. It's real, and people's feelings are real, um, related to whatever has happened in their life over time. And the problem is that a lot of these things are seeping in without our knowledge. We don't even realize that we're recording those things, that we're remembering certain things that were said, whether they were said about us or to us. We remember if they were said to someone that may be similar to us, someone that we're very connected to, someone that we love very dearly, and felt that um, that was painful for that person, and we take that on, and that can lead down certain roads, right? And so, but again, there are positive feelings associated with food as well. What we need to do, what we have to do, is learn how to temporize those things with good choices most of the time, right? Better choices, the best choice that you can make at that time in that environment. And we have to change our environments sometimes, where we're able to, so it's healthier. Some people just eat with their friends, and there's places that they pick. So maybe you're the one that starts picking the place when you start changing how you're eating, right? So that's one of those things, and those are the types of things that I address when I have clients come to me in my group. We talk about that. So I do have group availability for clients, and then I also have private clients. Pretty much everything, most of what I do is virtual now. So virtual definitely works because it's all about having that contact. And we dive into these things that I'm just going to kind of touch on today. All right. Um, so one of the things that folks are touchy about is that scale, man. That scale. So yes, it gives us some objective information, but it also gives us information that needs to be put into context in what we're doing. And so if you are working out, you're eating well, you're working out, you're doing weights and what have you, then you're going to put on some muscle mass. And ladies, let me tell you, muscles are beautiful. Okay. You don't have to be walking around like this. All right. That's not what it's about. It's about toning you up, giving you some muscle mass. Muscle mass is really, really important in helping you continue to burn fat, and burn fat even when you're not exercising, while you're sleeping, which is beautiful. So you want to get your body in that, and your metabolism into that rhythm. That has to happen over time. That is not an overnight thing. Okay. So um, you we're making choices based on what our goals are. All right. And so a lot of times people just want to feel better. You just want to feel better. Things have been going on for so long that you just need to feel better, and that is actually the first thing that happens for people that come to me. Is once we start on the plan, and we kind of dig through some things, is that people start feeling better. Now when you feel better, now you can hear more of what you need to do. But when you're not feeling well, you don't want to hear anything. You just want people to leave you alone. You don't want anybody criticizing you. You're already criticizing yourself. You don't need anybody to do that for you. And quite honestly, we talk about not doing that to yourself either, because that talk only starts to play in your head more, and then you're reinforcing something that you didn't actually intend to reinforce, which is still going down that road that you on that journey in a direction you don't want to go, right? So first thing is being aware of where you are. And so we have to be honest with ourselves, but we don't have to beat up on ourselves. We just need to do an assessment. We just need to do an assessment. And you don't have to do that by yourself. Okay. And that's something else I think that society makes us believe, that we have to do this by ourselves, that we should know everything. And we can have a whole lot of knowledge. I mean, all of us have a lot of knowledge, and we still don't do the stuff that we know because, again, it's not just about the knowledge, it's not just about the willpower, it's about actually being able to implement those things and unpack what um, is leading you to those choices. Okay, so that scale, a lot of times people only have the weight on there, and so it's not giving you any of other information. And so as a screening tool, doctors and other providers use the scale and your height to determine your body mass index. And that's that BMI, right? You hear that term thrown all around. But the BMI doesn't tell you everything. So the scale doesn't tell you everything, and the BMI doesn't tell you everything, because the BMI does not take into account the fat percentage. And so let me give you an example. You can have someone that's the right weight um, on the outside and for their height. They just happen not to show whatever is going on, but they could have issues in their blood that are not so good. They can have high cholesterol. They can be diabetic. They can, have high triglycerides, myself included. That's how I actually started doing this weight plan. I actually started doing it for myself. And literally, I only had maybe about 10 to 13 pounds to release, but it made a huge difference in those numbers, and then keeping my weight that way to keep my body under control. Okay. So it's what you're putting in. And so the body looking okay on the outside doesn't mean that everything is okay on the inside. And that's what I'm talking about in a family where one child or parent may be overweight and another child or parent is, they have, they look like their weight is good and like everything's hunky dory. And that's not necessarily the case. Your blood work will show what your environment and what you're putting in. And even if it doesn't show it today or next year, it will show it 5 years from now. Eventually, it will happen. Same thing if someone is overweight. They can have normal blood work, and so they go along, oh, my blood work's great. But still, eventually, the change will happen because it's over time, cumulatively, that your body makes these changes when your body can't create that balance anymore, and now it's out of balance because of the choices that you've made over time. All right, so that's on either end of the spectrum as far as the weight is concerned. But the BMI tells you nothing about your fat percentage, and so you can be considered thin or slim and actually have a fat percentage that is the same percentage as someone that is overweight, which just means that sooner or later those fat cells, if you don't eat properly, you're going to fill them up, and there are going to be things that happen to your body. All right, so just know that. So don't you cannot just judge a book by its cover. The other thing that I want, and along lines of that, is that someone could be on their health journey and be releasing weight, and because they started from such an extreme situation, you might look at them and say, oh, they should do something about that. Well, they've already been doing something about it, and they may have lost 100, 200 pounds or something like that, and you see them for the very first time where they are. So do not make assumptions about when you look at people. All right, so I'm just sharing that, because all of us have something that we need to tend to and criticizing someone else is not going to help us solve our issue. Okay, so I'm just going to drop that in there. So let's talk about some of the myths. So that was one of the myths, is that you just go by the BMI and then that's going to fix everything, and that you should get on the scale all the time and look at that number, and that's how you're going to control that. Well, that's not true. If you have a muscular build, you are going to weigh heavier. I definitely weigh heavier. People would never believe my weight, um, because I appear to be thin, but I have a muscular build, and so that weighs heavier. And so I could never plan on being a size 2. Not when I was younger, not ever. I passed by that size like in a hurry. Okay, early I was precocious. So um definitely I passed by size 2, 4. I jumped right over that. I went to size 8, 10. I think I actually went to a 10 as far as a kid is concerned. So as a teenager. So just know that the scale is not going to tell the whole story. Your clothes tell you more of the story. Your How you look at yourself in the mirror. So you will have redistribution that happens in your body over time. So that, women, especially, you're supposed to have curves. You're not supposed to be devoid of all fat, because that's what gives you the curves in the right places. And your body will start to do that as you make healthier choices, and do movement and exercise and strength training to be able to have everything kind of there. Okay, so let's see, another myth um, around weight is, you know uh, that everyone that appears to be, I don't know, larger is not healthy. And that's not true either. I know some super healthy people that is their build. They put in more exercise time than other people. They eat well. They're not eating meat. They don't eat. They eat lots of veggies and fruits and stuff like that. And so sometimes that's we're not made to all look the same. All right. So, but you do need to go for surveillance. Everybody, you need to go to your doctor on a regular basis. Don't only go to your doctor when you're sick. Please go to your doctor when you're well and get your blood work done on a regular basis, so that you can see where things are. Sometimes things are hiding out, and the earlier that we find things, the better that we can address them. All right. The sooner we can address them. All right. So, let's talk about the importance of small changes. Nobody likes that, because you're like, really? Small changes? How long do I have to wait for that? Well, you know, the literature actually shows that if you have been overweight or you have weight that you need to release, that it's better for you to do that over time as you get older, that you're at a healthier weight. You're going good. The up and down, the up and down, the up and down, that's not so good for you. Your heart is getting stressed, the rest of your body's trying to figure out what's going on. And so, you want to do that over time. So if you plan on being here for 3 more years, and you're already going to be here for 3 years, then it's okay to take 3 years to get to that goal weight, as long as you continue on that trend. Remember, other things are happening. Your body is redistributing. You're decreasing your fat percentage, and so you are going to, um, look better in your clothes to yourself. To yourself is who it matters for. Okay, and so that's really, really important. All right. I hope this is going well. I so let's see. So small changes add up to big, big results. All right. So small changes, like getting rid of the soft drinks. So that's someplace, especially with children, that I like to start, because it can make a huge impact. If kids are drinking milk, if they're drinking whole milk, going to low, 2% or 1% milk or skim milk, can make a huge difference over time because children are still growing, still things are still developing, and so we want them to kind of grow and release at a slower rate, release unwanted weight at a slower rate. Okay, so that's really important. So making that one change because a lot of kids, a lot of people drink their calories. So if you're drinking, 32 ounces of soda once or even more times a day, you can imagine just taking that away, the amount of calories that are in there. Those that can actually add up to almost 2,000 calories. And for women, you're supposed to take in 2,000 calories for maintenance on every day. So if you're drinking all of your calories and then eating on top of that, you can see where that would be a problem, right? Not to mention the amount of sugar that's in there causing that issue. Men, it's 2,500 calories that they should be taking in, and that's just a normal person going along. We're not talking about the bodybuilder or whatever, because they're burning things at a faster rate, and so their calories um, will need to be more. Um, that's we're just talking about regular people like you and I. All right, I'm not bodybuilding. I'm not doing that. Definitely not now at 56, almost 57. I'm not going to do that. So we want to make small changes. If it's leaving off that donut that you usually eat for breakfast, then and do that every day. Get into the habit of doing that every day, however much that donut was. And there are a lot of calories in donuts, a lot of calories, a lot of sugar, and a lot of carbs, which wreak havoc on our bodies for sure, especially those uh, those carbs, those simple carbs that add up. All right, that surge your insulin, and your body seeing more insulin is going to make your body store more fat. And then that just creates that vicious cycle. And you keep doing that every day. You know what cured me from eating donuts every morning when I was in residency, while I was training to be a pediatrician? I actually realized I had lactose intolerance at some point during my first year of residency. I was drinking milk and I was eating a donut. And then before I was on rounds, I would be sick every day and finally put it together that I was lactose intolerant. So it cured me from doing both. And then I started eating yogurt. I was never a yogurt eater. I had to learn how to eat yogurt. And so I did that. Um, so that's just my thing. I learned how to eat yogurt. Strangely enough, a friend had me put it on a bagel, so I would only do half the bagel because bagels have a lot of carbs too, and so that allowed me to, I guess, create some texture with the yogurt, and then now I can eat yogurt by itself, no problem. All right. So now let's talk about how fast you want to release weight. Oh, you just want to get rid of like 50 pounds in like, just 1 week. And this is not good because remember, I told you all about those behavioral things, the things that we have learned over time in our environment, things that we've learned around other kids, trying to fit in, trying to make sure that we have, able to eat what they eat and all of that. All of those things tie in psychologically. If you've had some negative things happen, you know, that that's all tied here. So when you release weight fast, there's no time for your brain and your behaviors to catch up with what has happened with your body. So you think that you have arrived. You think that you met your goal. And that should not be the only goal. You should be changing your mind at the same time, figuring out why you're making those choices. Because maybe you can get that willpower for 30, 60, 90 days, or maybe just 30 days and whiz through that weight and you're not changing. You think that you're doing this temporarily, which is a false. This is one of the myths about releasing weight. It should not be seen as temporary. You should be looking at this as a lifelong change to continue to make better choices, the best choice that you can each given day, each meal that you are having, and continue that. and not think that, oh, when you get to your goal weight, then you'll be able to go back to eating the way that actually doesn't make any sense. But we all do it if we're not staying aware. You must be aware. So the thing to do over time is learn sooner than later. So instead of realizing 50 pounds later, you'll realize it at 5 or 10 pounds later. Hey, my clothes aren't fitting well. What have I been doing? And think about it and be curious about that and move back, because life happens to all of us. You will realize that I made it through the pandemic, no problem. And then 2 years in, I don't know what was going on. I was like eating Twizzlers, which are a weakness for me, so I should not have them in the house. And I was eating Milky Ways, um, to a lot more than I really had calculated. And then I realized that things were not so good. My body was changing in a way I didn't like, and it was just a few pounds, but it was a few pounds that made a big difference to me. And as I told you before, in the beginning, when I found out my blood work was out of whack, that was only 10 to 13 pounds that I needed to lose. So 5 pounds makes a big difference to me, in how I proceed. All right. So, um, losing it fast, releasing it fast. And I try to use the word release because we don't, losing things we want to find, right? But we don't want to find the unwanted weight that we released. So I try not to use that word. Um, Sometimes to get people's attention, because until they learn that, um, that release is a better word than lose, then I use lose at that time. So I meet people where they are. Okay, so your brain needs to catch up. So you need to go over time and take your time changing. And so this is part of the reason for a customized plan with Healthy Curves, because everyone kind of starts out at the same place, but everyone's needs are different how they're going to get to their journey. So, yes, I have a place for them to start, and then I figure them out as they're going with me, as you're going with me, and figure out what they need. If we need to back up, different things that we need to do to change what's happening with you over time. All right. But I will tell you that people start to feel better soon, and that's what we want to happen first. All right. So don't be so quick on releasing weight fast. That's the reason why a lot of people looking at surgery, they're just so frustrated, and they've tried other things because, quite honestly, some of the places are cookie cutter, or you're just like all there in a group. You're not really things are not treated as personalized in a personalized way. And so we want to make sure that your needs are getting met. And that means that everything doesn't work the same way for everyone at the same time. And so certain goals need to be, headed off at the pass. So I have a lot of people that join me that have some type of insulin resistance. I have some diabetics, and at first, one of the things is to get the sugar under control. How do we do that? And that's looking at numbers and figuring out when people are eating, when they're not eating, how much time is going in between. And you know, that's definitely something that happens to people. We don't realize how important breakfast is, skipping meals, um, uh, you know, timing of eating, you sitting at your desk eating your lunch. No, you need to take time. You need to utilize your breaks so that you can be more productive, and you need to give thought. It needs to be weight management, which means every time you make a choice, you are thinking about it, and it's not just mindless grabbing something to eat. Okay? And that's part of the awareness, is becoming more aware of when and how you're making your choices. All right. So we don't want to set up for failure. So I really try really hard to make sure that that happens or doesn't happen. That uh, I hear things, but I can't see it. I'll have to do better when I'm on the next time. But uh, So, how can you win? How can you win on your health journey, like every day? So you can win every day, um, because you're going to make small steps every day. You're going to make small. Each choice is treated separately, and what we're not going to do is we're not going to sabotage ourselves by saying, "Oh, I did well for breakfast, but I didn't do well for lunch, so forget the whole thing." Well, that doesn't. That's not how it works. You get back on and make a better choice for dinner, and you keep doing that, and over time it's going to make a difference. The thing is you got to have that realistic eye on what you're doing, and not just trying to beat some clock or what have you. And so, getting with someone that can help, with a buddy. So like I said, I have a groups that are formed. They serve as support to each other, and then I'm able to participate in that, and you know find out what's going on with each person. If it's going on with one person, it definitely happens with another, and so that's extremely helpful when we share. It's a safe space. Some people, because of their time constraint, their schedule, they need to be with me privately, so I do have private clients as well. And again, lots of interaction, so that we can address things as they're happening. So I do counseling and I do coaching, and I look at different things. I look at things differently. When you go to your doctor in the office, they're able to do certain things with you. I have time to share so that I can look at things over time, and address it right then, and have you do something to change that course right then. So that's what coaching is. It's being coached in the process, while you're in the process, not waiting 3, 6, 9 months down the road when you see the doctor the next time a year, and you haven't been able to do whatever's on that piece of paper. So that's where what I do is different. Okay, and then my doctor brain is there, so I can synthesize the information. Even though I am not acting as your primary care, I'm not even acting as your physician, right? I guess, a health coach. I would say a wellness coach. I don't know. I need to think of a different name. But just, I'm your guide. I'm guiding you on the right path, and I try not to tell people what to do. I try to guide you to why one choice may be better than the other, so that you can make the choice on your own, and that's how we change behavior. All right, so, um, you can win on your journey. You can partner with someone. I have lots of different ways to help you. Like I said, we do customized plans at Healthy Curves. So Healthy Curves is by me. I created that. It's not just about a nutrition plan. It's a whole lot of things. We do things like meditation. We talk about what your self-talk is in your head, and what you're saying out loud to yourself and other people. All right. And so that we are more intentional about everything that we're doing, because it does make a difference in how you, make your choices. So, right. So, how you can get in contact with me. So, here on my YouTube, if you've been able to communicate in the live chat that I cannot see, please, you can communicate with me there. But my textable business number is 407-674-5725. And you may text me there, for sure. And also, my email address is DRB, so Dr. B, weight loss, WEIGHTLOSSMD, all right, for medical doctor at gmail.com. You can do that. Or you can go to my Facebook page, Dr. Nicole Bramwell. All right. And Doctor and Nicole are actually together. So that's the one that you need to look at, because I actually have more than one page, but whichever one, I still look at them all. That's just the more common one. And you can reach out to me there. And on there, you can see. I'll be adding some other things like my link tree, so you can see the different programs. But the programs are Healthy Curves. I do have meal plans. that I can provide. Um, and so we can talk about what you need. I like to meet for consultation virtually so you can see that I'm a real person, see that it's me. So you see me on here, and then you can see that it's me. And I can see that it's you and that you're a real person. And then we go from there. All right. So I hope that this was helpful. It was meant to be kind of a class, it's kind of pulling everything together. But if you want to make some changes and you don't know where to start, or you've been frustrated from things that you've tried before, all of that I've heard before, please, please, please call me at 407 674 5725. All right. And, this is brought to you by these plant based products that I use, a liquid vitamin and some a detox, and one capsule that controls your appetite. And I would love to talk with you about health is in a bag. Health is in the bag. Where I show you the products that we use. So I do use these natural plant-based products to help to support you during your journey, but definitely it's support. Those other changes that I talked about, this is to help you on your journey making those changes, and then to support you in your body being optimized and the healthiest that it can be, because we want to be here and we have lots of things to do. I'm pretty sure you have huge dreams that you would like to make come true, and so you got to be healthy to do that. All right, so we want you to be here. Again, 407 674 5725. Dr. Nicole. Find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, find me on TikTok, all Dr. Nicole Bramwell. Okay, you can look me up there, and you can see my link tree. And when I get off of here, I'll go ahead and drop the link tree in the live chat since I have not figured it out. I thank you so much for your time and your patience, and I look forward to bringing you another class sometime soon. So be on the lookout for that. All right, take care. You have a great night. Be blessed and be healthy.